Ladies and gentlemen, if you're between the ages of 60 and 80 and feeling financially broke, I want you to know something important. You are not alone, and more importantly, you are not without options. The past cannot be changed, but the future, yes, even at 60, 70, or 80, is still unwritten. And today, I want to give you 5 powerful steps that can help change your financial destiny. The human brain is remarkably adaptive, even in old age. While many people believe that significant mental and behavioral changes are only possible in youth, neuroscience tells a different story. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire, learn, and grow, remains active well into our 60s, 70s, and even 80s. This fact alone should spark hope for anyone who feels stuck or financially defeated later in life. If you're 60 to 80 and broke, the first step isn't finding more money. It's transforming how you think. That transformation begins with the realization that change is still scientifically possible. Your thoughts are the foundation of your future. If you believe that you're too old to recover financially, that belief alone will paralyze your actions. The brain responds to what you repeatedly tell it. If you keep saying it's too late, your mind will shut down its creative and problem-solving abilities. But when you say, there must be a way, your brain begins searching for options. That shift in language creates a shift in biology. The brain starts lighting up different neural pathways, opening up new patterns of awareness, motivation, and behavior. This isn't just motivational talk, it's backed by decades of research in cognitive neuroscience. As we age, the brain doesn't stop working. It simply becomes more dependent on routine. That's why so many older adults feel mentally rigid or emotionally stuck. It's not because their brains can't change, but because they've fallen into deeply rooted patterns. The good news is that even those patterns can be disrupted with intentional thought, repetition, and effort. One of the most powerful ways to rewire the brain is by focusing on what's possible instead of what's gone wrong. That means letting go of shame about past financial decisions and instead redirecting your focus to what you can do now, even if it's something small. It might be as simple as starting each day by writing one positive financial intention in a notebook. Today, I will look for an opportunity to earn. It may feel silly at first, but the brain begins to accept what it sees and hears regularly. Over time, this begins reshaping your attitude, which reshapes your actions. Even something as small as watching educational videos on money management or listening to motivational content can activate new circuits in the brain that help shift your mood, behavior, and drive. Your environment also plays a major role. Surrounding yourself with positive voices, online or in person, who reinforce the idea that age does not define worth will support your mental transformation. The brain mirrors what it sees, hears, and feels repeatedly. If you're watching television that reinforces hopelessness, your brain follows. But if you fill your environment with encouragement and learning, your brain begins to adapt toward hope and productivity. Another key to mental rewiring is movement. Dr. Andrew Huberman emphasizes the link between physical activity and brain performance. A simple daily walk not only boosts cardiovascular health, it stimulates neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin that enhance focus, motivation, and resilience. So, moving your body can also help you move your financial situation forward by priming your mind for better decisions and sharper insight. The process doesn't happen overnight, but the science proves it is never too late to start. You may not be able to change everything, but you can change something, and that something begins in the mind. Every financial transformation begins with a mental one. So if you're broke and 60 or beyond, your most powerful resource isn't money. It's your mind's ability to change, adapt, and rise again. The sooner you embrace this truth, the sooner your comeback can begin. At 60, 70, or even 80, many people often overlook the value they already possess. When someone hears the word broke, they instantly think it only means having no money in the bank. But true wealth isn't just financial. It's also in the form of skills, knowledge, experience, and personal belongings that can be turned into value. One of the most liberating truths is this: you may not be financially rich, but you are not empty. You have untapped assets that can be discovered, refined, and used to generate income or reduce your living costs. What you've gained over a lifetime, your talents, your voice, your perspective, your hands, still has economic value. Start with your skills. Think about the jobs, hobbies, and experiences you've had over the years. Have you cooked meals for a large family? That skill can translate into preparing food for neighbors or selling baked goods. Have you fixed household items, driven long distances, or handled administrative tasks? Those skills can be offered in exchange for small payments or bartered with others in your community. Many seniors have spent decades working, managing families, solving problems, and building relationships. These are powerful life tools that are still in demand. Tutoring a child, mentoring a younger professional, or offering caregiving support are all ways to use your experience to generate value. Next, consider your physical assets. Many older adults have homes full of unused items, tools, old equipment, furniture, books, crafts, and antiques. Some of these things can be sold online or at local markets. That doesn't just help bring in extra cash, it also helps clear mental space. Decluttering your environment can bring clarity and reduce emotional attachment to things that no longer serve you. This is a smart financial move because you're converting what's collecting dust into something that helps you move forward. Don't forget your voice and your story. In a world flooded with content, authenticity stands out. People want to hear real experiences from real individuals. If you've lived through hardship, learned lessons the hard way, or have a unique perspective on aging, finance, relationships, or health, you have something to say that others will value. You could write a blog, start a podcast, or even record short videos to share your wisdom. And while that may not immediately lead to income, it creates opportunities for connection, recognition, and eventually, revenue through platforms that reward creators or open doors to speaking, coaching, or freelance work. Beyond skills and belongings, you may also have relationships, friends, former coworkers, or community connections who can support or guide you. Don't underestimate the power of asking for help or exploring opportunities through someone you already know. People often want to help but don't know how until you speak up. It's important to see yourself as resourceful, not helpless. Just because you don't have cash doesn't mean you're starting from zero. You're starting from experience. And when you treat your knowledge and possessions as valuable tools, you begin to shift your mindset from scarcity to resourcefulness. That change in perspective is the fuel you need to take action. Being financially broke can feel like a dead end, but in truth, it can be a beginning. A moment where you finally see what you've always had but never fully appreciated. The world doesn't just pay for effort. It pays for value, and you already have value inside you. It's time to stop saying, "I have nothing," and start asking, "What can I use right now that already belongs to me?" That question alone can uncover doors you didn't even know were open. In a society that often equates success with accumulation, the idea of downsizing can feel like a loss. But for someone aged 60 to 80 who is financially struggling, downsizing is not about failure, it's about taking control. Simplifying your life doesn't mean giving up your dignity or your comfort. It means intentionally choosing to let go of what no longer serves your well-being in order to create space for peace, focus, and financial stability. In fact, one of the most empowering steps you can take when broke is to evaluate what you really need and eliminate what you don't. This is the starting point of freedom. Many people in later life are burdened with more than just financial stress. They're weighed down by the physical and emotional cost of maintaining things they don't actually need. A large home may once have made sense, but now it can come with high property taxes, utility bills, and maintenance costs that drain limited income. Moving to a smaller, more manageable living space can immediately reduce expenses and provide a fresh emotional reset. In truth, Many people discover that their happiness increases as their space simplifies. There is clarity in minimalism. When you're not trying to afford things you don't really need, you create room for security and peace of mind. The same principle applies to day-to-day expenses. Do you really need cable television, multiple mobile lines, or premium subscriptions? Could you switch to public transportation instead of owning a car? Could you cook more meals at home rather than eating out? These decisions may seem small, but they have a compounding effect. Every dollar you stop spending unnecessarily becomes a tool for something more important, like healthcare, an emergency fund, or reinvestment into a new income stream. Simplifying also applies to time and energy. As you age, your energy becomes one of your most precious resources. Are you wasting it on stress, clutter, or obligations that no longer enrich your life? Downsizing your commitments and focusing on what truly matters, your health, your relationships, and your financial recovery, will give you the space to breathe, think, and act intentionally. The science is clear. Stress reduces your cognitive performance. By minimizing chaos in your environment, you improve your ability to make smart, calm decisions about your money and your future. There's also a psychological benefit to living with less. When you're no longer chasing after things to impress others or to fill emotional voids, you begin to feel more content. You stop comparing your life to others and start focusing on what brings you peace. That shift alone can change your entire financial mindset. It's no longer about earning more just to spend more. It becomes about building stability, joy, and legacy in a way that reflects your true values. One of the most inspiring aspects of this step is how much power it gives you. You may not be able to control the economy, your past mistakes, or the rising cost of living, but you can control how simply you live. And in that choice, you gain leverage. You reduce your need for income, which in turn reduces your stress, which gives you more energy to rebuild your life. It becomes a cycle of empowerment instead of one of desperation. Downsizing is not a downgrade. It's a strategic step toward stability, freedom, and peace. It is a declaration that your value isn't measured by the size of your house or the number of your possessions, but by your ability to live wisely and intentionally. In the end, it's not about living with less, it's about living with more purpose. At any stage of life, the ability to generate income creates not just financial relief, but also a sense of purpose and dignity. For those aged 60 to 80, being financially broke can feel like the end of opportunities, but the truth is quite the opposite. The modern world offers more accessible ways to earn money than ever before, and age does not disqualify you from participation. In fact, your life experience, reliability, and maturity are assets that many people are actively looking for. You don't need to start a business empire or earn thousands overnight. What you need is a simple, consistent income stream that fits your lifestyle, energy, and skills. That's where the real power lies. The first step is to stop thinking in terms of a traditional job. You don't need to wait for someone to hire you full-time or offer you a salary. Instead, look for micro-opportunities, ways to provide value in small, flexible ways. Can you babysit, walk dogs, cook meals for busy families, clean houses on weekends, tutor children, or help immigrants practice conversational English? Each of these tasks is a doorway to income. People are willing to pay for services that make their lives easier. And if you can provide one of those services consistently, you'll begin to generate a dependable stream of money. Technology has also created a massive shift in how seniors can earn. You don't need to be a tech genius to benefit from it. Websites like Fiverr, Upwork, or TaskRabbit allow people to offer services ranging from proofreading and typing to gardening and assembling furniture. If you have a basic smartphone or access to a computer, you can create a profile, showcase your skills, and begin offering your help locally or globally. Seniors who love sharing advice or teaching are also finding success on platforms like YouTube or through creating simple online courses. You don't need fancy equipment, just your voice, your camera, and your wisdom. Another powerful but often overlooked opportunity is monetizing your passions. If you love making crafts, knitting, painting, or baking, these skills can be transformed into small businesses. You can sell items at local markets, online through Etsy, or even by word of mouth. If you enjoy writing, journaling, or storytelling, you could publish a small ebook, offer memoir writing services, or contribute articles to websites. The options are vast once you start seeing your interests as potential income paths. The key is to begin small. Don't wait for the perfect idea. Start with what you already know how to do. Offer your service to one person, take one client, complete one job. That one step creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. Once you see your own ability to earn again, even in a small way, your brain begins to shift from a survival mindset to a creator mindset. This shift is critical. It's what allows hope to return. Also, remember that starting late doesn't mean starting wrong. In fact, seniors bring something to the marketplace that is deeply needed: trust. People trust someone with decades of life behind them. Your reliability, maturity, and patience are strengths that many younger competitors may lack. Use those strengths to your advantage. You're not trying to become rich overnight. You're trying to regain control. A steady income stream, even a modest one, gives you options. It helps you pay bills, reduces your stress, and reminds you that you are still capable of contributing to the world. No matter your age or your bank balance, your ability to earn hasn't disappeared. It's just waiting for you to use it in a new way. The economy has changed, and so must your approach. Your future isn't lost. It's just waiting for you to take one small action to begin again. As you grow older, the structure of your day becomes more than just a schedule. It becomes a lifeline. When you're financially struggling between the ages of 60 and 80, it's easy to wake up feeling defeated, anxious, or uncertain about the future. But what neuroscience shows us, especially through the work of experts like Dr. Andrew Huberman, is that the brain craves order, purpose, and forward momentum. That's why building a routine based on purpose isn't just helpful, it's transformative. A well-structured day can literally change how your brain functions, how you feel emotionally, and how clearly you think. And those changes can directly impact your financial decisions and opportunities. Purpose is not about achieving something grand. It's about knowing why you get out of bed in the morning. Even if you're retired or unemployed, you still need a reason to move, a reason to contribute, a reason to keep growing. When you begin your day with intention, your brain becomes more alert, your motivation increases, and your stress levels drop. That's because the human brain thrives on predictability, clarity, and meaningful activity. Without it, we drift. And when we drift, especially during financial hardship, we become more vulnerable to depression, anxiety, and poor decision making. A purposeful routine doesn't require money. It requires discipline and a willingness to structure your time. Start with a morning ritual that sets the tone for the day. It might include a 10-minute walk, deep breathing, journaling, prayer, or reading something inspirational. These habits don't cost anything, but they energize the brain, improve focus, and help create a sense of inner strength. Movement, in particular, is incredibly powerful. Just 20 minutes of light exercise in the morning increases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals linked to motivation and happiness. That's why you feel more alive and clear, headed after physical activity. Once your day has started with intention, set small goals, things that give you a sense of accomplishment. Maybe it's applying to a job, calling a family member, learning something new online, or cooking a healthy meal. Each of these actions reinforces the belief that you're still productive, still useful, and still growing. And that belief is essential when you're trying to rebuild financially. When your days are filled with intentional activity, your self-worth naturally improves. You begin to see yourself not as a burden, but as a contributor. That shift can change everything. Another part of a purpose-based routine is connection. Humans are wired for social interaction, especially as we age. Isolation can lead to emotional decline, but even one meaningful conversation a day can improve brain health and emotional resilience. Reach out to a friend, talk to a neighbor, or join an online community of people in similar situations. These relationships can lead to encouragement, information, or even job leads. Financial help often follows emotional support, but it begins with connection. Also, use your afternoons and evenings wisely. Reflect on your day, track your small wins, and plan ahead. The act of writing down your goals and progress strengthens the brain's reward system. It teaches your mind to look for growth, not just problems. Over time, this consistent focus on purpose rewires your thinking, increases your confidence, and sharpens your ability to make good choices, even about money. In difficult times, most people focus on what they can't control. But the truth is, you can control your routine. You can choose how you spend your hours, what you focus on, and how you speak to yourself. Purpose is a powerful medicine. It restores clarity, dignity, and strength. And from that foundation, you can rebuild your financial life with wisdom, focus, and grace. Even at 80, the structure of a purpose-driven day has the power to change everything.